Hi everyone and welcome to the Helen Winder Show. I'm Helen Winder and today my guest is the wonderful Shelley Fishel from the IT Training Surgery. Hi Shelley, thanks for joining me.
Hi Helen, thanks for having me.
No problem at all, great to have you here. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and about the IT Training Surgery, and I believe you also have something else called My Ollie.
That's right. So about me, I am I suppose, middle-aged lady of indeterminate years, and I have, I started my current business in my 40s, and so life definitely begins at 40 in my experience anyway, and I run the IT Training Surgery. I'll go back and say I'm married. I've got 3 grown-up wonderful kids, couple of daughters-in-law, and we'll see what happens next as to other stuff. But in the meantime, I started the IT Training Surgery after beginning my training life. I should explain that the IT Training Surgery trains people how to get more productive with their use of their Microsoft Office, their daily software. The stuff they do day in, day out has loads of ways of working that people aren't even aware of. That's going to save them time, and obviously time is money. So I set up the company. I started life as an IT trainer for a large training company, learnt how to be a trainer, and then went off and went freelance for a bit, and then in 2007 set up the IT Training Surgery to take it to the next level and start to provide training in-house to companies, and I have a team of associate trainers that I can call on as well. So that's kind of what we do.
Fantastic. So do you go into their premises, their businesses, and deliver the training, or do they come to you?
No, we go to them. The whole idea behind it is that we go to their business premises. Then people are comfortable because they're in their own surroundings and they're a bit more relaxed. Although the only drawback to that is they do hop off and check their email in their breaks. But with mobile phones and iPads and tablets this day and age, you can't get away from that anyway. So you may as well be at their premises. And also we can also work with their own documents, so they could bring something beforehand or to the session and say, I'm having a bit of a problem with this, what can I do? Or somebody's given me this beautiful spreadsheet but I've got no idea what it does or how it's supposed to work, or I need to do something similar, how? So all of those things we can help with. And we run it in different ways. We run regular courses with a fixed course outline. We can bespoke courses. And we also run the IT Training Surgery where people come for one-to-ones, which is very successful. And you mentioned My Ollie.
Yes.
And that's an online platform. So you can go to the My Ollie website and subscribe on a monthly basis to all of our Microsoft Office content, which I spent quite a long time recording a year or so ago.
Fantastic. So they get you as their personal trainer.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they can hop in as and when they need to. They don't have to do it in a set sequence.
If you're talking about My Ollie, no, they can pick the lesson they want to learn. Just go in, log into the system, go into the package they want, and they do get access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint and Outlook training there. And they can pick the package and then find the lesson that they particularly want. So if you were particularly struggling with tables in Word, you'd go and find all the lessons about tables in Word and just run through those whenever you wanted to. And it works on all platforms. So even if you're on a train and you've got your iPad, you could do it there too.
That's a really, really good idea because, I mean, the packages change, don't they? Especially, obviously, as, you know, technology is advancing. We need to keep up to date with everything, with all these new little features that appear in, I know the difference between 2010 and 13, you know, was a jump as well. So, yeah, I like that. So what we'll do at the end, if you can let us know what the website details are, we'll do a little shout for you. So,
oh, thank you. That's very kind.
No, you're welcome. Now, IT training, I mean, I don't think people really realize the real benefits of understanding the packages that they bring into their companies, whether they're an individual or whether they're a larger company. I should think getting everybody to the same level and understanding how it's going to work for them and their businesses is quite a challenge. Do you help people sort of bring everybody to the same level and understanding of internal works and how it's going to benefit them?
Well, funnily enough, that's I can give you a couple of examples from last week's client trainings. So last week I was in at one client where they'd asked me to come in and run a session on using templates across their organization. So it was about looking at their Word template and their PowerPoint template and teaching their users how to use them and what the rules and guidelines were around them. In the process of that, with the PowerPoint template, we discovered that the template they'd had created actually had some issues, and they're now going to go back and redesign that template, and we're going to run another session in the new year along with their brand guidelines so that everybody is really clear about how that is going to work. And that's going to save them time, because instead of sitting there when they're creating their presentation, they haven't got to think about the format and the look and feel of it. All they need to focus on is getting that message into that presentation template. And the other place was also to do with PowerPoint, funnily enough. I've had a lot of PowerPoint recently. A new client asked me to come in and get them all up to the same level. We ran 2 courses, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The morning group was speedier, so they got through more content, and they were also the comms team, so they really needed to understand it. And the afternoon group went slightly slower, got through the same amount of content, but some of it not quite as in-depth, but enough for their needs. And actually I met up with that client again yesterday, and again we're going to run some more training in the new year for them on Excel and some other stuff as well. So it's very much a personal relationship with the client, looking at their business and helping them save their employees time so they can focus on getting their work done, not battling with the software.
And I should think as well from a personal satisfaction, you know, if you're sat there and you're trying to find your way around a package, it actually can make you feel a wee bit down, can't it? Some people, they just want to get on and do it, but they don't necessarily get the full job satisfaction when they're sat not sure what they're doing.
Exactly. One of the ladies in the morning session on this PowerPoint last week, she said she spends many evenings, you know, when she's not at work, not in the office, but she's got this presentation to perfect for the next day, and she spent hours and hours in the evening trying to get things to line up, trying to get the formatting to be consistent. And in a 3.5-hour session on Thursday morning, she learned how to set that all up from the beginning, and in future she won't need to do that. She'll actually be able to get that done during a working day and not have to spend all her spare time in the evening tweaking it to make it look the corporate way.
Goodness me, yeah. Gosh, the time saved there within the business time as well as personal time it's going to make a huge difference to her, bless her. That's fantastic. Yeah. So in business, obviously you've got to where you are. You've got the IT training surgery, you've got Maya Ollie. How has it been as a journey for you? Have there been ups and downs? How have you sort of coped with them? What strategies have you maybe used to sort of smooth the road or ride the bumps and come out the dips?
Well, of course there have been ups and downs. I wouldn't believe any business person that said it had all been an upward trajectory, if I can get my teeth around the word, the whole way. Of course there are very busy times and there are fallow times, and certainly in the training world it is kind of almost seasonal. This time of year actually tends to be quite busy, people getting training in before Christmas. Then it goes a bit quiet, but I'm actually seeing bookings for the whole kind of through the first quarter of next year already. I've got stuff beginning to build up in the diary, which is brilliant. But it does take a lot of effort, a lot of talking to people, making time to build those relationships with clients. looking to be on the client's side all the time. So what is it that the client needs? I'm not going in to train a course that we want to train. Yes, I've got my standard course outlines, but I'm much more interested in delivering what the client actually needs to make them more efficient and to enable them to make more money. Because if we can save them half an hour per person per day, which my feedback tells me we can, then I can save them the equivalent of a salary a year just in productivity time. And that's very exciting. So that's what we can do. So you asked about the journey. So I started out as when I left the company I was working for, I started out as a day rate trainer, as a freelance trainer, and I was busy all the time, and gradually decided to make myself into a company so that I could then go in, talk to clients, nurture those relationships, and bring on board other trainers that I've known for a very long time. We've all worked together for a long time. And that's kind of what happened. And then I had a very quiet, I had 1 year which was exceedingly quiet, and that was mainly because I took my eye off the business, the training delivery business, in order to create my Ollie. And so my focus was elsewhere. And so the training side went quieter, and that was just because I wasn't out there looking after the people, not so much looking after people, but keeping in touch with people as much as I could or should have done.
Yeah.
And that's a big lesson. It's about keeping in touch with people. You know, you have a newsletter, making that newsletter interesting, picking up the phone to people, meeting people. Next week I'm going to meet 2 or 3 people who have referred business to me over the last year. And I'm actually going to go and personally deliver Christmas presents to them because I think it's important.
Yeah.
So it's those sort of things that you have to do. And yes, there are going to be quiet times when I can look at my diary or my trainer's diaries and think, there's nothing in the diary, what are we going to do? And then a day later you'll look in the diary and you'll think, actually, where am I going to find time to do business development? Because we're so busy delivering training. And I think the big challenge for any small business is finding the time to work on the business rather than just in it.
Yeah, I think that's quite a big, isn't it? Because we're so focused on delivering, on getting the work in, building that client base, that we do forget about ourselves and actually the business.
Yeah, the planning and working out where those clients are coming from, who they are they the kind of clients that you want to have? And I feel that right now, certainly the IT training surgery has stepped up a gear, and I'm beginning to work with the kinds of clients that are the ones I always wanted to work with. And it's just beginning to happen, but it doesn't happen overnight. And I think I'm a very impatient person in my private life. I want things to happen yesterday, always. And I think that's been probably for me the hardest thing, is allowing it the time to get there.
I think I can relate to that one myself. Yes, I suffer with that impatient sort of thing in life. So what do you think that it is that helped you go to that next level, to where you are now? Was there something you did differently to suddenly sort of to change things around?
Well, partly I think the beginning of when things started to change was when I outsourced some of the admin that I hate doing, because you get to a point where you realize you just can't do everything. And when you are running a small business, you're wearing all of the hats. So your finance, your operations, your bookings, your booking terms, your invoicing, you're talking to the clients, your marketing, your sales, your everything. And at the end of the day, there's only you, and you can't do that all by yourself. So you do need a good back office support team, even if it's only to do some of that.
Yep.
But whatever that you can take off your plate, that is that I regard as mundane and monotonous, but somebody else eats for breakfast because they love doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then that's great. So I think that was a big thing for me, and I use a great little company called Transhire who do my back office support. and are always there. They pick up the phone for me. They answer my phone calls. So when somebody calls, they don't get an answer phone message. They get a real person.
Yeah.
And I think that's also very important. So that's been one thing that's been, really good. And also, each time I've worked with mentors along the way. Every so often I'll invest in a course of mentoring with somebody, just to get somebody who's in a similar situation or somebody who has been there, and that really helps because it helps you focus on what you need to do, to move forward. The company is also accredited, and I'm accredited with the Learning and Performance Institute, and the assessment for that is quite rigorous, and that usually focuses in on what's been going well, what can we do better, and I always come out of that process with something to implement for the following year. So all of those things really help. All of those things really help.
That's fantastic, and it is really important because it keeps you focused, because you have those tasks, those things that you have to do, like you say with the accreditation, or things that come out from your coaching mentoring sessions, that the action steps that we sort of come up with together, and also when you do bring other people on to help you with administration or social media or marketing, whatever it might be, in those areas of your business, it frees you up to focus, doesn't it?
It does. It means I haven't got to think about the nitty-gritty of it. I just have to think about the direction I want it to go in.
Yeah.
And I think one of the hardest things is, one of the difficult things is thinking what that direction is. What image do you want? What do you want to say? What's your message about? That is quite something that has to be thought through. And also communicating that message to whoever is supporting you is very important, so that they understand, because it's no point, say, expecting somebody else to read your mind. You have to be able to explain exactly what you want, because they're not nobody is a mind reader.
No, that's right, because our dreams, our visions, our goals are ours, aren't they? So yeah, nobody sees those developing inside, do they? No. So I think there's a lot of things. I think one of the things in a business that you really need are really good communication skills. And I think without communication skills, you can really founder. Yeah.
Or flounder, rather. Flounder.
Absolutely, flounder, that's the word. Fantastic. Now, very quickly, top 3 tips to share with our listeners, what would they be?
Top 3 tips. Don't try and do everything yourself.
Yeah.
When you're obviously right at the beginning, there may be times when you have to.
Yeah.
But there are lots of ways of not doing that, even if it's getting a student from the university to do something for you. Then you might have somebody doing a marketing degree and they need some experience. I'm sure you can get somebody for pocket money, help them pay their rent or whatever, and it wouldn't be as much as employing someone. So I think don't try and do everything yourself. Take a break. I think it's very, very easy, especially in our connected digital world, and especially if you're like me and you like your gadgets, to be permanently accessible and permanently working. And this is a lesson that I'm only just learning about how important it is to stop and not work all evening and all night. I think there are times when you have to do that, but you just need to recognize that it's not sustainable all the time. So take a break. And holidays and things like that are important too. And what would be my 3rd tip? Just get out and do it, really. Don't overthink it. I think one of the things I have done in the past is overthought things. And instead of sitting there thinking, well, shall I call that person up? What if they don't want to talk to me? Well, if they don't want to talk to me, they don't want to talk to me. But if I don't phone them, I won't know if they don't want to talk to me, or maybe they did want to talk to me. So I think that's kind of one of those things. just do it, basically, like the slogan says.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. I love those three. And you know what? The top one, don't do everything yourself. That's so important, because the brain can only process so much. And when you've got goals to work towards, you're not going to have the skill base for everything, are you? So bring people in that can help you. Take a break. Gosh, yeah, absolutely. That we only have so much battery power. We don't have installed solar panels yet, do we? So
not yet. No.
Not yet. And get out there and do it. Absolutely, fully agree with you on that one. You know, if we sit back too much and ponder, you'll never get there.
No, you never get there. And things, you know, put it out there what you want, and tell as many people as you can. You know, I'm trying to get this or that or whatever, and somehow it will happen.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. Now, very quickly, how do they find the IT Training Surgery? Are you on Twitter?
I am at Shelley Fishel on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also IT Training on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And we are www.theittrainingsurgery.com. That's THE, the IT Training Surgery. And also, I just mentioned on the IT Training Surgery website, there is a very active blog. I blog a couple of times a week, sometimes 3. But every Friday, there is a Friday tip. So there is a technology tip, how to do something. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a step-by-step with pictures. So it's well worth going and looking at the blog, even just for the sake of that. I also have my Ollie, which is www.myollie.net, and you can get to me as shelley.fishel@theittrainingsurgery.com.
Fantastic. Now, very quickly, how are you spelling my Ollie? Because Ollie, has it got a Y or has it got an I?
Okay, so it's M-Y for
Yeah.
my, and Ollie is O-L-L-I because it stands for Online Learning Library.
Oh, I
so
like.
it's myollie.net.
Fantastic.
So that was the rationale.
I like that thinking. Love it. Well, listen, Shelley, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for sharing your journey with our listeners. And I've just had a thought, maybe if you'd like, come back and we can talk a little bit more technical on tips or something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be great. We could do that another time. I'm happy to do that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Shelley, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners. Join me again soon. You can keep up to date on all the interviews that are taking place if you visit www.thehelenwindershow.com.